Hey guys, it's John and Ben here. Today we're going to talk about the new Ford Lightning. We're going to give you our honest opinion from a home builder's perspective. Yeah, we've had these trucks now, guys, for about 2 months. You know, we've really had a good chance to kind of get to know them and understand the different features.
How many miles do you have on yours?
Right now I have about 1,800 miles.
And I have close to 4,000 miles on mine.
Yeah, and they're identical trucks. They're Ford Lariat, the Lariat package. One of the first things we did, guys, before we even took ownership of the trucks, we're adding a leveling kit. We raised the front of the truck up about 2.25 inches in total. We added these nice method wheels to it, off-road tires. So we just kind of wanted to give it a bigger, more construction vibey look. Cool features of the truck. Everything is kind of sensor minded. So, you know, you just push a button and the tailgate goes down, so that's kind of fun and cool. The Lariat package comes with these built-in bed liners, which is rad for hauling tile and, you know, lumber and miscellaneous materials and stuff.
And I like the power feeder in the back of the truck. So it comes with power inverters. You can plug your 110 battery charger for your tool, you know, anything really you can plug into, and you can also charge your house. So if in case you have a power outage, you can use those trucks as a main source of power, and it's pretty good.
I mean, as far as like charging them, in the front of the vehicle, there's a charging, you know, portal for it. Gonna have to add, I would recommend a minimum 220 volt outlet. That's something pretty simple depending on what your allowable capacity is on your existing electrical panel, but any electrician can probably do it within what, a couple hours, 2, 3, 4 hours max. But you're definitely going to want to do that. If we're talking about charging, I don't do a ton of driving during the day, but I usually plug my truck in the evening.
That's a 220 plug right here. So you can plug a generator.
Continue our way around the exterior of the truck. You can kind of see, I mean, they're beautiful truck. We love the aesthetic of it, kind of spacey, techie kind of thing, but it still has the original Ford body. Everything has sensors everywhere. You can see right here. This is the charging portal that we talked about. So it has the capacity to just do the standard plug-in, and also has to do the DC fast charger, which is cool. So like if you're out and about, if you're down to like 10, 15, 20%, you plug it in on one of those DC fast chargers. We found it takes about 45 minutes from like 20% to 90%. One of the cool features of this truck is, you can see here, as we kind of get inside, there's a front, they call it a frunk. You just push this button and the front pops up. You can fit, in this case, he's got faucets so they don't get damaged. Yeah, he's got pickleball paddle.
Pickleball.
Yeah, you know, miscellaneous things. So. My kids love this, they think it's cool, you know, but again, more outlets.
And you have more storage here under. If you want to store, you can store under.
Yeah. Personally, I think that they're nice looking trucks. Aesthetically, they have some really cool features. So let's go take a look at the inside. As you guys know, I handle, you know, a lot of the paperwork side of the business. I do a lot of estimating, invoicing, client relations, city correspondence back and forth and stuff. And so one of the cool features of this truck that I found helpful when I was kind of learning it and getting used to it, but if you push this button right here, the power gear shift will lower, which is cool. And then if you move all this stuff out of your way, you essentially have a table, a workstation. I set my computer up sometimes here and I'll work, do my business, and then I can, you know, fold it up super fast. And guys, let's go for a ride.
Okay.
So on and off, right? Got to make sure that the keys are in, push the button, and it's on. This is my first electric vehicle. It's on, it's quiet. I mean, that's the first thing you're gonna notice. The cool feature that I thought was rad is it has an oversized screen. So I really find that helpful for when I'm navigating. Everything's electronic and touch screen, so if I want to turn the heat up, it's got a steering wheel warmer. But yeah, basic luxury-wise, I feel like it's a nice, very, very comfortable ride. It's definitely a fun car to drive. It's super, super fast. From, you know, when you gas it, it goes.
It's like 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, from a luxury standpoint, I love it. Inside, it's super comfortable, it's spacious. I mean, the back has so much room. I feel like it has more room than the regular F-150. The sound system on this is epic. Like if you like music and you're into that, you know, playing it loud, it blasts. But let's take it for a drive. So it's very, very, very sensitive when it comes to like pushing the pedal, but it handles super, super nice. Even with the addition of the leveling kit and the tires, I mean, it just handles so smooth. Very, very, very comfortable ride. I will emphasize that. As far as like charging it, right, and overall range, I would say that the range is the biggest drawback on this truck. The trucks we got are the 220 or the 230 or 240 range capacity. I did notice a difference when we added the rims and the tires and the leveling kit. I did notice a drop in overall range. It wasn't super dramatic, but it was enough to affect, you know, the overall range capacity on the truck. Ford recommends that you don't charge it over 90% on your day-to-day. So on a 90% charge, I get about 160 160 miles. I think some of the factors are like how you drive. It's great for city driving, but it's when you jump on the freeway, it starts to slow down a little bit. But for me, I live 5 minutes from my office. You know, a lot of our projects are in and around where our office is located. From a operation standpoint, as far as like running leads and meeting with clients, it's kind of ideal. I love it, but the range is definitely a problem. Yeah, I would say the optimal person to buy this vehicle and enjoy it is someone that does a lot of inner city driving, right? Maybe a little bit of freeway miles here and there. But if you're looking at it from like an actual use it every day to run materials and put a ladder rack on it and, you know, things like that, I wouldn't recommend it. I really wouldn't. I think it's more of a luxury vehicle more than anything. They're so fun to drive and they're super rad, but from like a practical, you know, material runs to dump runs, I don't know. I would not recommend it. Let's jump over into Ben's truck now and go for a ride and see what Ben thinks.
Big difference between John and I is one, I drive like a French guy, so I'm a lot of on and off. He's a very cautious driver, like grandpa. And two, I run the operation, so I do way more freeway driving than he does, and I carry more materials than he does. As you can see on my dash, I have 56 miles of range for today. Okay, so I have 41% of battery left. That means that I have to get home tonight and drive less than 56 miles, or I have to go to a charging station and charge a truck. Not a lot of room for getting lost and going out to lunch, seeing a girlfriend or stuff like this. Just go straight to work. Love the truck, super smooth, it's quiet. The only thing I have to tell you guys, if you're a contractor like me, is if you're considering buying this truck to tow something, just forget about it. Your range will go from 150 at a 90% charge to 50 miles. Before this truck, I had a F250 lifted diesel, and I used to tow a lot, and that was perfect, you know, to have that big truck to tow my dump trailer was great. I tried to tow a couple times with this truck, it's just not possible. I mean, the range goes down so quickly that it defeats the purpose. If you're planning in buying a vehicle like this as a contractor, just know that you won't be able to tow. I drive an average of 100 miles a day. Okay, that's on average. My truck has 160 miles of range at a 90% charge. If, you know, someday it happens where I drive more than 100 miles a day because I have more client meetings, I have problems on the job, I have appointments. So the biggest struggle I have with this truck is I have to find a charging station. And here in SoCal, you know how overpopulated it is. And sometimes you go to a charging station and you have 10 people waiting in line. So sometimes I have to wait 2 hours to give my truck a little bit of charge in order for me to finish my day. Good thing about it is I can pull this down like John showed you, and I can work on my computer and get paperwork done. But still, it's a big inconvenience. Just have to consider that. At my house, I have a 220 50 amp plug, and it takes about 8 to 10 hours to charge a truck to 90% charge. If you don't have a 220 charge, if you charge a vehicle with a 110 plug, it will take 3 days to charge a vehicle. If you go to a charging station, a fast DC charging station, it will take 45 minutes to an hour to charge a truck to 90% charge. So I'm hoping that in the future they are going to emphasize on creating more charging stations, and I'm sure it will only grow from now because everybody's going electric. But as far as it stands now, it's a big problem. I mean, you don't have enough charging station in comparison to the amount of electric cars out there right now.
So let's talk about the trucks, the overall ratings for the trucks, the way the truck drives, you know, drivability.
Handling, I would say a 9 out of 10. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. It's a great truck to drive. It's like a high-end luxury car to drive.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say like a 9. I mean, it drives super smooth. What about aesthetics, exterior? What do you think about the exterior?
I think the stock lining with the stock wheels, I don't like the look at all because it looks like a stick bug. You know, the back is way higher than the front. I think the fact we did the rims and tires changes the whole look of the vehicle at the detriment of the range. It cost us 20 or 30 miles of range.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. So I agree with Ben. Aesthetically, I think that right now the truck is like a 9, but the way it came from the dealership was probably like a 6. Like I wasn't stoked
like
on
a stock,
it. Maybe a 7.
Yeah.
So we spent about each truck to level it and to put the new tires and rims on it was about $3,500.
Yeah, like $5,000.
But I mean, aesthetically, that's what we were going for. We wanted to make it look a little bit better. So now, I mean, we like it. What about comfort? inside when you're driving it?
I think the comfort is great. You've got heated seats, you've got heated steering wheel,
Yeah.
you've got a 15-inch screen. Audio in that, the stereo in this truck is tremendous.
So like a 10, 9, 10?
I would say a 9. And
Yeah.
the reason why is because the finishes in the truck is not a Mercedes, right? It's a Ford. But I would say it's very good for so 9.
Yeah, I agree. It feels very, very nice when you're driving it. There are those added features with the heated steering, the big screen, you know.
And
I would
also
say
the cruise control. There is also like an autopilot, it's called Blue Cruise. I like to use that sometimes when I drive on the freeway. I just put the autopilot on. It's like the Tesla one. It's full of sensors.
Does that, I've never done it. Does that ruin your range or is it the same?
No, it's the same.
Okay, so range. That brings us to range. Let's talk about range. 1 through 10. What do you feel about?
In my opinion, the way I drive, I would say 4 out of 10.
Yeah. Again, we have different roles in the company and, you know, I have different uses for the vehicle, but given the fact that we have upgraded the leveling kit on it and the wheels and the tires, I'd give it like a 7. The range is definitely the biggest detriment.
If we had 500 miles of range, this vehicle would be a 9.5 out of 10 vehicle.
Keeping in mind though, I agree with you, keeping in mind though that the towing is still an issue. So towing's an issue. The other big piece that you talked about, the accessibility for charging stations is a problem. Generally speaking, you know, an overall rating for the vehicle incorporating all those categories, what would you say?
6.5.
6.5. I'm gonna go a little bit more ambitious on mine. I'm gonna call it like a 7.5. I love it. I think it's a great feel. It drives super nice, like we talked about. The big thing for me is the range. That's the biggest hurdle. I mean, we like them. I mean, we would recommend them to anybody that's not looking to tow or haul big materials or do a lot of freeway driving. Because if you are, it's not the truck for you. You're gonna probably want to wait. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. You know, we were just trying to kind of give you our honest opinion about these new trucks that we've had for a little while and found it helpful. You wanted to hear more specific info about a certain feature of the truck and you want us to shoot like a different portion, let us know in the comment section. Just feel free to tell us.
Feel free to comment and please follow us. We are going to try to post a lot of videos for you guys and we are enjoying it so far, so let's go.